Hi everyone, this is Melinda from the European Pain Federation EFIC, and I'm here today with Deirdre Ryan, the president of Pain Alliance Europe, who is here to talk a little bit about patient involvement at the upcoming EFIC 2023 Congress in Budapest next year. Deirdre, thank you so much for taking the time. Would you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Thanks. I'm Deirdre, as you said, but first of all, I'm actually a pain patient. So before I ever became a president or involved in any of this work, I was a pain patient. And really, through my own experience, I really wanted to get involved in advocacy. And I've been doing that for over 15 years now. And I was part of and head of the Irish organisation for chronic pain patients, Chronic Pain Ireland, before I came to Europe. And now we're looking at Europe and who knows, maybe next the world.
That sounds great. So, could you tell us a little bit about why patient involvement is so important in research?
Well, first of all, just it's a product like any other. We wouldn't ignore the customer in any other area of business. So why would we do it in healthcare? And it's not just about us being a customer, but really the value that can be added by involving patients, because we can impact not only the actual quality, but how the patients engage in the research. And that can be done at every stage of the research cycle. And also the actual topic that's being addressed. So the intervention or the modality, whatever it is that's been talked about, patients have the information and the experience to help decide these things before the research even begins. So at every stage, it's so important that patients are involved because it can add quality and it's meaningful work. It closes that loop. You begin with patients, for the benefit of patients.
I love that. So, EPIC 2023 is a scientific congress on pain. Why is there a patient focus in some of the sessions?
Well, it's important to reflect the work of many researchers and clinicians out there that are involving patients already in their work. Many of you are seeing in your clinics and in your studies are dealing with patients all the time, and we have seen some of the applications already have really made an effort of involving patients in the design of the workshop. So we can see even from the title that it's when we say patient focused, it must involve in its design a patient, it must reflect research, an intervention, or a type of assessment perhaps that is based on patient focused research, or there's an actual patient as part of the workshop, or is representing their story perhaps in a poster, but that the patient voice is present within the session. And that's so important because we want to hear the experience. It's not always about the results, but the process and what the experience like is for the patient to be part of that process or at the end result. So, this new intervention or a new way of doing an intervention, what was the patient experience for that? And that helps at a scientific congress because that's most people's everyday. Bench to bedside, it's so important, we know that, but often you don't, when you're at the bench, you don't always get to see the bedside. So when you're at a congress, it's the time to see the examples of how these things follow on afterwards. What other research links in with yours? And that's where maybe you're not directly dealing with the patient. How can I do it? But also, who else has done it and what does good look like? What are those examples out there of how maybe I can bring this into my own work? So if I'm not doing it at the minute, how am I going to learn if it's not at one of the biggest pain congresses in Europe?
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much again for taking the time. We look forward to working together with you, and we look forward to seeing you in Budapest next year.
Great. See you then.